everyone. Welcome to the Greek AF Radio podcast. We have an amazing episode today. We are joined by two lovely ladies who are doing an amazing job as, should we say it now? Let me introduce my co-host Foti, and then we're going to bring our guests on. Joining me as always is Foti Stamos. Hello, Foti. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ari, and I think I'd be doing better if my Greek was better. How's about that?
I say this every single day. My life would be great if my Greek was a little bit better. I try to watch Greek TV. I haven't been to Greece in a long time. Don't hate me.
Same on
But there's so much need for the Greek language in our lives. And what can we do? What can we do?
I have a solution for you, and that solution, Ari, is our guest in this episode, which we're very honored to have, because part of what we do is obviously always keeping our culture thriving and alive, and a big part of our culture is language.
Absolutely, right? 100%.
Language is important because I grew up in a household, and I'm sure you did, where our parents only spoke Greek to us in the house because they said no English in the house. You are only going to speak Greek because if we don't speak Greek, we're going to lose it. Okay.
Is that real? Is that for real?
Fine.
Did your dad really say that?
Yeah, I would.
My dad 100% said that. I swear.
Listen, I spoke English and I got responses in Greek. That was a lesson. You speak Greek in the house. Okay, so fast forward. Our generations are changing. We're getting older. We're getting married. We're having families. We're having kids. So that element is changing and that dynamic is changing. So having said that, we need help. We need a lot of help. So the help that we're going to get is thanks to our two guests that are joining us on the Greek AF Radio podcast. With us, I want to introduce our guest, Emily Inzetakis. I'm sorry. Emily.
You need help more than anybody.
Exactly. So I'm going to rephrase. So Emily Inzekostas, along with Danai Sileolu.
No. Say it again.
Saileo.
Danai, please come into the conversation and tell them exactly
from Greek language experts who are with us this wonderful episode. Thank you for joining us, the both of you, to actually share the actual talent that you have to allow us and others to learn our language, which is Greek, better than we knew it before, so that we can continue this flame of our culture moving forward. Well, thank you so much for taking the time in your busy schedules to be with us. Thank you to the episode.
Danai, can you please reinforce
say my name?
Your name?
Say your name.
I'm gonna say it, but what is you're not a good student, man. Like seriously. Like 2 minutes ago.
It was like 2 minutes ago she told you how to say her name. This is why we say we need the help. We need it. What you guys do is so absolutely important in our lives and in so many Greek people's lives. So Danai, just say your name properly, please.
My name is Danai Siailu.
Siailu. Remember that.
Siailu. And with us, Emily.
Yeah, Emily, like Inzo Martaki, like what? I don't know what's going on. Inze Costas, right?
Correct. Very good. I didn't even understand which name he was trying to pronounce, but yeah, Inze Costas.
Both of you intimidated me. I got stuck. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. No, I'm kidding. But thank you so much for joining us. And, this is so fitting for us in general because we constantly produce episodes that really keeps our culture going. And this is our first episode about language.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow.
What more better than to have the both of you with us to discuss how important our language is to our culture outside of our customs, our traditions, our faith. That language is also part of all that we need to start to implement.
If we lose the language, if our generation or the next generation loses the language, I mean, how can we continue our culture? Language is absolutely imperative to the future of Hellenism. That's something that's very important to us. So
it's because of the language that we have so many traditions, customs, and this beautiful culture that we have.
Absolutely. Right. And we don't even share, the great thing about Greek language is that we don't share. It's not a Romance language. We don't share the whole alphabet and everything with everybody else. It's unique. It's ours. Like, we started it all. And let me just say, I would have completely bombed on my SATs if I wasn't Greek. But during the SATs, I'm like, autotoxero. It's from Greek. It's so, the Greek language is so important. And what you guys do is absolutely the most important thing for our culture. So please, ladies, I don't know who wants to start. Yeah, tell us
about yourselves first. Yeah.
So first, it's our honor to be on your show, and especially when we first heard what you are guys doing with Greek products, and definitely trying to keep the Greek spirit alive with all the events that you're doing. That's why we reached out to you, because we thought that we were like a great fit to meet you. And yeah, so it's Emily speaking. I am from Thessaloniki, Greece. So I was born and raised in Greece. My first language is Greek. I studied philosophy and education in Greece. So I'm like, I know all the rules that every student hates when they learn Greek. And I came to the US 6 years ago to do my master's in education. So I'm now a full-time high school teacher, but also doing the Greek language experts. I'm the founder and the co-owner of the Greek language experts. And of course, I brought Danai with me because once he came to the States as well, and we reconnected after so many years, I told her, Danai, do you want to do something? I don't know if it's going to go well, but I need your help. So it's been 2 years now that we're working on this amazing project, Greek language experts, and it's a long journey, very long.
Can I ask where you guys are in the US?
So very good question. Because I'm like in New York, and I think that everybody knows that everybody's in New York, but no. So I'm in New York right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our Greek culture is rooted in New York. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So your thoughts are fine, but just for our audience, based out of New York. Okay, great.
And I'm in Chicago.
Oh, and even better. You guys have the two main Greek populations covered.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. I didn't know they had such a big Greek community until I went to Chicago, because I thought Astoria is the only Greek community, like major Greek community. I know Boston has, I know Florida has, but I went to Chicago and they have a Greek town. They also have the parade. They have a lot of events.
We even have a Greek museum in downtown Chicago.
That's amazing. You guys are situated in the best places possible for this. So, okay, so you guys are both from Greece, correct?
So I'm also from Thessaloniki, Greece. I was born and raised there. We met when we were in kindergarten, and life happens.
Yeah. And our moms have really great pictures that we can share with you later.
Absolutely, we love those.
From kindergarten.
and from elementary school, but we were in different classes, and yes, we kind of get separated, but then as you get older, you go back and you find people on Facebook and Instagram, social media, and you start chatting. That's how we started talking. And actually the first time I saw Emily, I don't remember, I think that's the first time we saw each other after so many years. She had a layover from Thessaloniki to Athens to go to New York. And I was living in Athens at that time. So I was like, okay, I'm going to come and see you at Eleftherios Venizelos, for an hour, have a coffee.
That's cool.
So I was like, what? no, are you gonna do that for real? Because I was traveling by myself for like many years, back and forth. I was living in the States by myself. My whole family was in Greece, so I was like doing that twice a year. I was like, really? You're gonna come for 1 hour?
Yeah, so I took the bus from downtown Athens. I went to meet her at the Eleftherios Venizelos airport. We had a coffee, we chatted. She told me that she was living in New York. I was like, what? Like, my dream is to live in the US. And then I met my husband a few years later, who's also who was also born and raised in Greece, but he had the American citizenship also.
Okay.
And we moved to Chicago, and now we're here for 2 years. So when Emily proposed the cooperation, it was when I was waiting for my green card to be approved.
Mhm.
So it was a long year of waiting and waiting and waiting. I don't know if you had that process, if you experienced that process with anyone.
Only when I wait for Ari to come to an appointment.
Oh, no. It's not that long. but waiting for the green card, I mean that
Yeah.
I know from many people that's like such a
Yeah. It took approximately 10 months
oh my gosh.
to get approved because it was during COVID.
Mm.
So it took longer than
So it took
expected.
longer because of COVID as well.
Yes.
So that's just bad timing all around.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's fine.
but
I mean,
COVID it wasn't bad timing for us because COVID is actually when like Greek language expo started, like the idea. Because everything went online. I was teaching online, like 5 classes with 100 students online. So I was like, listen, I need to do something with like Greek, teaching Greek online. So COVID taught me a lot of things on like how to teach online, how to use Zoom, how to use Google Documents, like how to use PowerPoints. And actually, whenever I think of like COVID, I think that it actually gave me an opportunity to also with Danai do something that we love.
You know,
by the way, sorry.
Go ahead, Danai. Go ahead.
Emily has all the experience about the Greek language. I didn't study Greek. I just speak Greek because it's my,
From Greece.
I'm from Greece. So I had no idea about the rules. I had to sit down, read everything, learn everything, email back and forth with Emily, like, tell me this, how is that? How is this? What does this mean? Like I was a student to become a teacher.
Well,
and I'm still a student in many situations.
From my perspective, Emily, you're doing something great and you're very qualified for it and everything else. But Danai, everything you just said makes me even more comfortable with you guys as Greek teachers because you have a passion for it. You learned more for it. You asked for help for it. You studied it. You did the work. So both of you come from very different perspectives, but you're both doing extremely, important work. And I have a great faith in that because Emily, you know what you're doing. You're a teacher. You do it. The night you want it, you learn it. You're studying it. You're asking for it. So both of you have two different perspectives that really complete that Greek language puzzle.
And now that you know, the most important thing is to accept that you don't know and don't be afraid to say it. Because I had students that they would ask me questions that I wouldn't know the answer. And I would be like, hey, you know what? You'll give me like an hour after class to check this out because I don't want to say something that it's not right. And I will get back to you. And
who said was it Socrates? We know all we know
all I know is that I know nothing.
Exactly. And that is such a truth in life. So that makes perfect sense.
I use it all the time with my high school students where like they think that I know everything. And I'm like, Listen, and we know a lot of things, even like with me that I studied the language, right? Greek is so rich. You cannot know all the rules. It's impossible to know the origin of each word, where did it start from, what was the ancient word for it. A lot of times I like to go back to ancient and like, because students are asking me like, why is that like this? And I need to like explain them, listen, this comes from ancient Greek, that's why it's different in simple past and present. So then they're like, oh wow, this is so interesting. So we understand every single day that Greek is so rich, and is it possible to know everything?
Oh,
So basically, you took the two most difficult languages to learn, Greek and English, which English makes no sense
sense at
whatsoever.
all.
No.
OUGH is like 18 different sounds.
Ari,
And these
uh,
are the two languages you guys are experienced in.
I
So
was,
Yeah.
I was,
kudos to you.
I was gonna actually follow up with your comments to ask both Emily and Danai, considering your backgrounds and so forth, like, at what point did you feel, or what was that moment that clicked to say, we need to actually teach people how to speak Greek? What was that moment that triggered this thought to create Greek language expert services?
Aside from listening
That's
to you,
actually
aside from listening to
Besides
Courtney
me,
try to announce
and
a
butchering
Greek
your
name,
names. Yes,
that's
yes.
probably a good motivation right there. But
that's
outside
actually
of that,
a question for Emily because she had the original idea. I came to the US as a yoga teacher, so
oh,
I
that's interesting.
I want to take yoga.
we can do
Namaste.
yoga through Zoom. I was
All
doing prenatal classes to Emily through Zoom.
Oh my gosh.
right. I don't,
You know what?
can I
That's a whole
qualify for
separate
those
thing. That's a
classes?
whole separate service we could talk about for Greekism. Because I know there's a lot of Greeks out
Okay.
there that want yoga, including myself. Um,
Yeah.
but
Definitely.
I mean, exactly what we said. Like the English and Greek are extremely
Yeah.
difficult languages. So you guys are covering the bases of like, I mean, I'm not exactly sure about maybe Chinese or Japanese, like are pretty difficult. I don't know anything about it, but from what I know, out of everything I know, English and Greek are it. They're the
Yeah.
base of like so much in our lives, but so much
Mhm.
difficulty.
Listen, to answer for this question, actually, like you were saying about SAT, right? Earlier we were talking. I had to take GRE. GRE is a test in the United States, for those who don't know, that you require to take when you go to do your master's. At least it was before pandemic, right? So I had to take this GRE test that all Americans were taking. And I opened like my study book, and I saw so many Greek words in there. I'm like, are they kidding me? This is their difficult test? Like, I was so surprised. So immediately I started like to whoever I knew. Oh my God, I'm studying GRE. You guys think are so difficult, but I can find so many Greek words in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the math with that, it was on GRE. I actually did it in high school because in Greece, in high school, we do very advanced math. So everybody who comes here to the States, they already like have like a university level of math. So I'm like, oh, that's easy for me. This is how it first started, but then because I wasn't qualified to teach at a school yet in the US, I started doing Greek online. Like I had a few students, and I had a student from Canada, I had a student from LA. So I saw how people here, basically my students were people who were Greek Americans or married to Greeks,
Mhm.
and they couldn't communicate with their parents-in-law.
Yeah.
And I said, like, listen, this is very interesting. And then that like people want to learn Greek. I had no idea that on the other side of the world, people want to learn my language. Like I came from a very small country, and coming to the States with so many like millions of people here, I was so surprised that people wanted to learn Greek. So this is
Absolutely.
how I started
And we're talking
thinking.
about a language that is spoken only in Greece. Like it's not like Hispanic, that they speak it in Spanish, in Spain or in
Yeah,
Mexico
multiple
or
countries. Yeah, yeah.
multiple countries.
Yeah.
It's just a language that is spoken only in Greece from Greeks,
Yeah.
and in some places also in the world from Greeks that they have immigrated during the past.
Greek diaspora. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that is exactly what we were saying before. Like, it's so important for us.
Yeah.
You know, it's important everywhere, but I'm just going to speak about the US because that's where we all are right now. And that's what I know. So it is absolutely important for people in the US, if they have a passion, if they're interested in Greek culture, if they're interested in anything Greek, if you're Greek and you don't speak it, it's so important that you learn it, because that is the essence of our culture. And our culture is, I mean, I don't want to sound, you know, horrible, but our culture is probably one of the greatest cultures ever in history. I mean, we gave the world so much, and our Greek language gave the world so much. Our Greek language is, I want to say, it's like 60% English is based on Greek words, and I think 40% Latin or something like that. So it's absolutely important.
If I can follow up to your comments, Ari, that considering the wonderful background of both Emily and Danai, that we in this market are living in times where I'm sure there's a lot of us who are listening to this episode who come from different backgrounds as either Greek Americans or someone that's married to a Greek or who's a Philhellene.
That's another, yeah. Those are two big things.
Right. Or someone that actually is planning to visit Greece, that I'm sure that they're actually online, Googling, trying to find sources. How can I learn Greek in a very short time frame? So having said that, I think what I want to touch upon for those that are listening is that Greek language experts from what we have experienced provides opportunities to learn the language in a format that, whether it's Ari and I, who are Greek Americans who have lost touch with our language and need to brush up on it, for those of us that are married to a Greek that needs
the people we're married to speak much better Greek than we do,
right?
So we are the perfect candidates.
Right? Is that I want to touch on the fact that the both of you are able to provide services that are capable to enlighten and encourage those that are in an adult age range to learn how to speak Greek in a proper manner. So can we touch on that now, as far as, you know, the concept was created, Greek language experts, because of, you know, the both of your very unique and diverse backgrounds that brought you together. You're both in the US, and you're both providing a service which is very accessible to those that actually are challenged to speak the Greek language. So if we
You
can
might, finish. Sorry.
Is that I definitely want us to discuss what you offer as services and the fact that it can actually attract the candidates that I just mentioned, whether it's us as Greek Americans that actually have lost touch with our language, for those that are married to Greeks that want to actually be able to communicate with their
that's a big one,
with their family circle, or
will also
planning to visit Greece and want to learn the basics of how to actually communicate while they're in Greece.
Yeah.
You will be surprised by how many Philhellenes are as our students. We have many Americans who have nothing to do with Greece. They know no one from Greece.
I love
they
to hear
just
that. Love it.
Love Greece, Greek history. They have visited the country numerous times. They're visiting Greece every year, or like every trip they take, they give all their money to visit Greece.
I love it.
So we have students like that too. So that's, and I say it, and I get goosebumps, because when we get students like this, we feel like, oh my God, like there are people out there who are really, really interested about Greece, the Greek culture, and they know that knowing the language and speaking the language is part of the culture.
Yep.
And yeah, I just wanted to say that.
That is so awesome to hear. I love to hear this. I mean, we have so much pride. We have so much pride in our culture. We have so much pride in who we are, where we come from, what we gave the world.
Mhm.
And the fact that you guys are an organization that can help people achieve, these language goals.
Right.
And, to speak Greek, I think is an amazing goal, an amazing goal.
So having said that, can we discuss basically the services that you offer?
Yeah, so like Ari said, it's like very difficult to learn Greek, right? So because of that, we came up with an idea of having group classes going on the whole year. So like somebody can start whenever they feel like it's just group classes that we have throughout the year. And we actually wanted to make it fun. That's why we started the idea of having group classes where just people that want to learn Greek with the same level, like is it beginners, intermediate, they come together and we teach like some part of grammar, then immediately they speak and they use the skills, and then we go to the vocabulary. We also introduce culture because there's a lot of things that they don't know, even about Greek weddings. Like I have students that are trying to get married in Greece, and so they want to learn like, oh, this is normal. So we always like bring this aspect of the culture as well. And that's why we offer the group classes, but they have been very successful from level 1 to 6. They take an assessment and we let them know what level they can join. If it's people who already know the alphabet, they don't have to start from level 1. But we also have private courses, one-to-one, for people who have like a specific goal about learning Greek. So most of the times our one-to-ones are Greek Americans who went to Greek school. Like we were talking in our phone call with a Greek school that didn't have a lot of success because they were forced to go as kids.
Yeah.
It was also through church. Sometimes is a little bit older way of teaching. So now that they're adults, they want to learn more. So that's why they're doing one-to-one. And there we just do whatever they need to learn. It's not like a set curriculum. We just go based on their needs. And of course, we also have a travel course. Like we already discussed, so many people want to travel to Greece and they want to be like, okay, I just need to know how to order, how to book a hotel. And if like at the airport, they shout something to me, because you know how like at the port and airport, they're like, quickly, pame, grigora. So they just want to learn like the basics of when you visit Greece. So we also have immersive like course for 15 days. It's called Greek in 15 days. So for 15 days, they can do class every day and they learn the basics before they go to Greece.
That is, that's awesome. Foti's been Greek for 40 something years and he barely knows what to say when he goes to Greece. So he's like your number one candidate.
So having said that, I'm signing up for every possible class that you offer. So that I can.
Do you guys offer a name pronunciation class? Because he could take that one too.
We did it before.
Oh yeah. You're right.
It didn't go well.
So, having said that, how can I sign up for your classes?
So we will direct you to our website. You can take a look at our schedule for group classes if you're interested. But I think we might need to do a little assessment because we do offer a 30-minute free course where maybe we need to do an assessment to see if it's true what Aris is saying about you not speaking very well.
Yeah, you have your work cut out for you.
If you know the basics,
Sure.
Foti, we will sign you up for a private course maybe, because our group classes are very beginners. I think you're intermediate.
Not
I
from the
don't
very
know about
beginning.
that so much.
All right. Well, no, this is great because I think that the fact that you offer multiple options is very important
Very important, yes.
because our listening audience come from very different backgrounds. And the fact that you have multiple options is key. That's very key to actually mention that.
And group classes are fun. Like we have students from all over the place in the US and different ages. And
and
it's super fun because we try to keep, first of all, we keep our groups small, like very small, so everyone can have the opportunity and the actual experience of speaking the language and practicing the language. So our classes do not exceed 6, maximum 8 students.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And
So you can really work with everybody because,
yes,
that's a size where,
that's our goal.
yeah, you could really get one-on-one with the teacher.
Yeah.
and
We do breakout rooms. We have exercises where we do breakout rooms and 2 students can practice like a dialogue or write their own dialogue because we focus on every aspect of the Greek language. They learn to read, to write, to speak. So they get to practice all this. Every lesson that we do in each group, we focus on all these aspects.
Wow, that I mean, it sounds amazing. I know in my own social circle, so many people that will be interested in this, and I'm assuming if so many people I know, there's got to be a lot of people out there that absolutely need not just are interested in this, but need this. Like, a lot of times you like to say that, this is like, a hobby, or I want to learn a new language. It's
right.
this is that. But you know what? It goes deeper than that. It is really, in my opinion, a necessity for Greeks or people who care about the Greek culture to know the language, because the language is everything.
It's number one. Yeah. So having said that, all right, we're going to definitely include this in our podcast notes, but how can someone find more information about Greek language experts?
Yeah, give us website, social media handles. We'll also print it in the notes, but tell the audience, please.
Definitely. So I like to start with our website is www.greeklangexperts.com. But also the same on Instagram, Greek Lang Experts is a great resource for somebody who just want to start practicing. So let's say you're not ready to take classes. Our Instagram account has everyday Greek practice. So we post like a little quizzes, a little like lessons, a little videos of like seeing the weather in Greek. So definitely people can find us on Instagram and Facebook with the name Greek Lang Experts. Just like if you don't know, it's hard to start a new language. So like I would say first, people should go on Instagram and get started with like practicing. I know a lot of people doing Duolingo, but Duolingo is like just the same things over and over again sometimes, because I tried it for English. My mom tried it for English and it doesn't work. But definitely, Instagram and Facebook, and then our website is
awesome.
And of course, our newest entry, which we always forget because it's so new and we haven't realized it yet that we already created, is our podcast with everyday dialogues. It's on Spotify and Apple.
And soon to be on Greek AF Radio.
And soon, yes, exactly. So we've started this 2 months ago, and we have episodes that are less than 5 minutes. Some of them are 2 minutes, 3.5, very, very small, very brief, with dialogues from like the mall or the supermarket, the grocery store, or on the street, stuff like that.
So I'm gonna say that the social media is absolutely a necessity in today's world. I'm not a big fan of social media. I'm an old school web guy. social media to me
Ari,
is a
me
very
neither.
necessary evil, but the podcast that you do and the technology that is involved in the podcast, meaning they could subscribe to you. They could go through your list. If they're going to a grocery store, they could go right to the specific things that they need. So that podcast, to me, is absolutely a gem because, again, you could go through the whole thing front to back. You could go to specific episodes. So please, keep that podcast going because those are the things that people gravitate towards, and the technology behind it is really powerful.
Definitely. And our podcast is not called Greek language experts. It's called Let's Talk Greek. Because we wanted to separate it, from our brand name. And like you said, first episode was how to introduce yourself. But if you already know that, just listen to the one that says how to check in at an airport in Greek. Because it's very important because when you go to Greece, we get this feedback a lot. Many people don't really speak English. In Greece, young people learn English, but older people don't really learn English. So visitors and tourists have a hard time communicating sometimes at the grocery store, like the neighborhood store, or they go into the village, and a lot of people there that don't speak English. So it's important, like you said, whatever you need at the spot, just listen to it and it will help you, with the conversation.
Exactly. And, with social media, it's a little bit difficult to find specific needs, but with the podcast, you could just scroll down and be like, oh, I'm going to the taverna. Here's the episode that I need to listen to. I'm going to, I'm going to Foti's name enunciation shop. So I need to listen to this episode.
So having said that, Ari, this has been a delight to have both Danai and Emily on this episode to discuss our language. This is not the first or last time because we're definitely going to have both of them come back onto the podcast to discuss our language and how to be better at speaking Greek, right? So having said that, I wanted to also, mention that this has been a delight to have you on the podcast because language, as we discussed before, is super important to our culture, super important to us and our listening audience who actually definitely want to brush up on their Greek for the most part.
I mean, is there anything more important? Is there anything more important than language? I mean, this is the essence of our culture. And, if you have any desire, any need, anything in your life that requires, brushing up on your Greek skills or just starting fresh, we found the two lovely individuals that will help you.
Absolutely. Well, Emily, Danai, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Greek AF Radio's podcast.
Can I ask you, Foti, to pronounce Danai's last name one more time?
So,
why are you doing this?
Emily is. First of all, Emily Costas is her last name.
Oh my goodness!
Right? And Danai, Sia Elu.
No,
Bravo.
my God, no. Oh, he did it?
Good. He
He
did
did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, he didn't do
I already
Ari,
no, before he even started. I'm sorry.
So
Ari, you're way better, to be honest. He didn't do it the way he was supposed to, but he did it very close. We want to encourage because we want him to join our Greek classes. So we want him to come back.
So listen, we hired both Greek language experts, Emily and Danai, because we as Greek creators, and we have so many we interview Greeks and we need to brush up on our Greek language. So that's why we are going to hire Emily and Danai to help us speak better and more, and not sound, but more proper. We need to speak proper because I think it's important to actually, there's a lot of Greeklish, Greek English, or Greek trends. In America, we kind of change our words and create these different words. But no,
not only in America. Trust me.
We're gonna do it the right. We're gonna do it the right way because we have Greek language experts on our team, And we'll
So if I take classes, you mean my mother-in-law cannot correct me every single day, every time I say something in Greek? Oh my God, how could I live? How could I live without that?
Okay.
Now that you said, Foti, before we go, now that you said about inventing words with Greeklish, so I have relatives in Australia, Melbourne, and my uncle visited us like 10 years ago, and he was like, okay, let's take the caro and go to the beach. And I'm like,
the
the
caro is
caro?
the best.
I'm like,
There's caro,
Well,
cake for
is
cake,
it possible? Can I ask a quick question?
banca for bank.
So Emily and Danai, is it possible
Quieto.
to publish a list of made up Greek words and what they mean in Greek?
we should. Actually, that's a very good
Yeah.
idea.
That's one
Yeah.
podcast episode for you guys right there.
Yeah.
This is where we're gonna need your help because you definitely know more than we know, like caro and tichetto
Yeah,
and
yeah.
banco. You know,
Foti's
we're definitely
regular,
gonna need
Foti's regular everyday language is full of those words.
So the funny thing is, and not to close, we're going to close with this. The funny thing is that, R and I, we're together way too much. It's not normal, the amount of time that we spend together because of
It's unhealthy.
it's unhealthy. But we do actually speak back and forth using our English language and our Greek language intermittently back and forth. Like we're doing this all day long because of who we speak with. And sometimes we catch ourselves speaking and saying things like, did that make sense? So we're going to ask you to help us and use your expertise to help us make that approach a little more smoother and a little more appropriate and correct. So that's why you're with us.
How useful is that? That's so useful. That's so
Right.
useful in so many ways.
So
it's our pleasure. And in a year from now, we'll do a podcast only in Greek.
That's it.
So having said that, Emily and Danai, thank you so much for joining us. I'll have Ari also do the closing of this episode, but we definitely want to thank you for your time, considering your busy lives, family, and so forth. That welcome to the Greek AF Radio family. Welcome to the Greek Azon family as well. It's an honor to have you on board. We're definitely let our audience know that, looking forward and ahead, that we're definitely going to have more information about your services and what you provide and whatever.
And well, we're going to have them back on another episode because there's so much we could talk about. There's so many topics. There's so many things that are involved in this. Fun and serious, but there's so much. So yeah, we're going to have you guys back. As Foti said, thank you, Danai and Emily. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. Thank you, everybody out there, for watching and listening. We will have all the show notes. You heard it. You can find it in the notes at the bottom. And Emily, Danai, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ευχαριστούμε.
Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. That's what they would say.
Yes, everybody.
And enunciation. You guys teach enunciation, correct?
Yes.
All right. That's
it. Yeah.
We need that more than anything, because I do know a lot of people who speak Greek and it's horrible enunciation. I cringe when I hear it. Please help them.
Are you speaking for a friend?
Well, I have, it's funny. I have an uncle, not my uncle, my wife's uncle, who he has like a Southern drawl. And if you understand a Southern drawl and speaking Greek, it's like, hey, παιδιά, τι κάνετε, καλά. I'm like, stop. Just speak English. I can't hear it. So please help all of us, please.
So we need
definitely, we will.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Definitely.
Thank you again for taking the time out. Thanks, everybody out there watching, listening. We will see you next time on the Greek AF Radio podcast. Have a good one. Bye-bye.